So, here we are, private practice. We'll get to a few things to show you. I've invited a couple of people to show you cool things, but I, of course, have some stuff for you first. I'm going to use, because I had it, I'm going to use some dental slides and examples, but I assure you, private practice is private practice is private practice. Patient, client, doesn't matter. Okay? The processes are all the same. Everybody's doing the same thing, getting a lead, getting somebody to an appointment, et cetera, et cetera. So forgive the dental terminology in some places. But I promise you, all I would have done is just taken dentist out and put P/C for patient-client, and we would have had exactly the same conversation. So I got a little lazy about the slides, but I promise you, it makes no difference. So I want to talk mostly about internal marketing, about referrals, about the growth of the practice from within. And none of this is really new, but we've gotten smarter and smarter and smarter about it over the years and have arrived at a fairly sophisticated and universally successful answer to the problems of getting maximum referrals. So I've also asked my guests to talk and show you things more about internal marketing than external. So this really is an internal marketing approach. But I want to start with just a quick sort of review of why people don't refer or don't refer in the abundance that we think they should refer in. So one is that satisfied patients don't refer. People think that, and I said it earlier today, you know, that, gee, we've done a good job, we've healed the sick, we've kept this guy from going to jail, we've got him $500,000 for his accident where he got hit by a shopping cart. I mean, we've you know, done great things for this person, and we have bent over backwards doing them, and now this person should reciprocate by referring. So there's often in offices an attitude of entitlement that gets in the way of being very organized and very proactive about getting referrals from the client or from the patient. They're supposed to happen. And they do. And so there's also a sort of complacency of, gee, we're getting referrals. Usually when I ask a practice owner, how are you doing with referrals? Almost everybody actually says good. Hardly anybody says bad. Most will answer, well, I think we do pretty good. Now, if you then start to probe, they really don't know what pretty good is, so usually they don't know the number. And at best, they'll know, how many did we get last month? They won't know, but they've got a staff person who knows, so they can go get that number. All right? But if you start to ask them true, measured efficacy questions, the chief one being, how many referrals per active patient, client, or customer did you average last year? That number they don't know. And it really hasn't occurred to them to measure that. So most of them say to me, I'm doing pretty well. When you investigate, they're doing horrible. They have a small number of really enthusiastic customers, clients, or patients who give them a lot of referrals, and a huge number who give them none. That's what usually is going on. And in terms of averaged out, X number of people this year are our customers, and we got this many referrals. The number is horrendous compared to 100%, and compared often to some other industries in which you would think the referral rate would be a lot less. So for example, the average chiropractor, the last time I had data, which isn't all that long ago, the last chiropractor gets 1/4 the number of referrals as the average used car salesperson working at a dealership. Now, you would think you're a doc. You are laying on the hands. You are healing the sick. People are rising up and able to dance, unless they're a Baptist, and play the piano again. You would think that would motivate more referrals than the guy who beat his customer with a club, took his wallet out of his pocket, and gave him a used car that now barely starts. I mean, it would just seem obvious, and yet that's not what happens. So thinking that it takes care of itself is really the first obstacle. The second big obstacle is that most patients and most customers and most clients aren't really capable of representing you, of telling your story. So when we ask them to refer, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to do that. They don't really know what's expected of them. And so since they don't know what to do and they don't know how to do it, they have no training in what it is they're supposed to do, they pretty much do nothing. Third reason, this never automatically necessarily comes up in their conversations with their circle of influence. Many of the kinds of practices that everybody has are not things that often, naturally, are a topic of conversation. But if we haven't given them any other instruction and process for referring, at best, they will wait until it's caused by the conversation of someone else, and then you hope they'll respond by talking about you. So the next one is they feel awkward often. So not everybody is happy talking about whatever. And you don't mind, Rick, you don't mind if I use you, do you? Yeah, so in Rick's business, which are how many clinics across the country?
13.
Okay, so 13 clinics that treat erectile dysfunction. Well, not everybody, even if it comes up in conversation, is not, not every 62-year-old guy is like eager, to have that conversation. You'll find this amusing, by the way. I meant to tell you where. So, Guthy-Renker bought a penis pill company, a direct, herbal thing. Yeah, so they bought a herbal. So I go to the meeting, right, with the marketing team they have assigned to this. So this is, get an erection when you can't and have an erection that stays erect. Pill, a herbal Viagra thing. So here's the marketing team that marches into the room, all right? 5 guys, no woman, all right? All guys, right? The last I looked, the reason everybody wants the pill is the woman. It would be good to have her input. No, we got no women. We got all guys, all right? The oldest, who's really the only DR guy too, is 41. The rest of them are right out of school with their little college degrees in marketing, and they're like 30, right? They know their customer demo, though, which is probably the same as yours, right? 63, married for 15 years or longer to the same woman. Kids are out of the house. That's the customer demo, right? I said, so what's wrong with this picture? I said to Greg, I said, you got to understand, you got a team of people here working on this who get hard from a breeze. Right? I mean, I have very little prowess anymore, but I have a long memory, this is not a good thing. And here's the copy. You'll love the copy. You ready?
Yes.
All right. Give your wife a night of rock star sex she'll never forget. This guy's 63. Okay. He's got a bad heart. Okay. And that ain't what he wants, and that ain't what she wants. All right? He wants a rambler. All right? square, it's ugly, it doesn't look real good, but every time you turn the key, it starts, right? When it comes to life, that's what he wants. I'm explaining this to these guys, they're not getting it. So in any case, a lot of times we are asking people to refer. What we are asking them to talk about is awkward for them to talk about. And it doesn't have to be this. It can be for the financial advisor who manages their money, right? Not everybody, and typically the older and the more affluent is all that eager to have conversations about what they're doing with their money and who's doing it for them. So often what we don't think should be awkward is awkward for someone else. Often the patients have no self-benefiting cool story to tell. So by this I mean, if you want a patient or a client or a customer to really be running around telling people about you, doing that has to make them look cool. It has to make them look smart. It has to elevate their status, right? Which, by the way, loops to celebrity, expert status, and authority, because that's the thing they are most likely to brag about. Okay? When this turned in cosmetic surgery, so that profession used to have the problem of women got work done, but they went away to have the work done. And they told no one, and they hid in a hotel till everything had healed, and then they came back, and they hoped that everybody would, oh, you look younger, but not leap to the conclusion, oh, you look younger, must have been done with a knife. Okay? When this turned to the point that it is now, where pretty much everybody wants to talk about it all the time amongst themselves, okay? There's no stigma to it anymore at all. It turned on celebrity doctors. They figured out if they were celebrities, people would brag about having the same doctor who does the Hollywood stars, okay? Or who does the socialites in our town. And so in many cases, we don't really give them any kind of story to tell that would raise their status in the eyes of the folks they hang out with. Right? We don't give them a cool story. We're not a celebrity. We're not famous to any kind of audience. There's no real bragging right to knowing us or associating with us. And so they don't tell. So I don't think Krista Ree is here, but Chris? Okay. Water purifier business. Expensive water purifier, all right? He has killed himself to make sure that the Kardashians have one, that Harrison Ford has one. There's 8 or 10 Hollywood celebrities who have this water purifier. And every customer now who has it now likes to tell people, I got the same water purifier that the Kardashians got. Right? That's an extremely valuable piece of currency. They bungle it. So they do go tell somebody, and so you will have always somebody who tells you, oh, I'm telling everybody about you, and you get no referrals from them. It's because of what they're telling them. They are telling them scary, frightening things and telling the story badly to boot. If they're not trained professional communicators, God knows. First person who told me about chiropractors kept me away from a chiropractor for 3 years. All right, that's what he accomplished. So he's telling me I got a bad back. Here's what he's telling me. You got to go to my doc, my chiropractor. He'll fix you right up. At the time, I knew nothing about chiropractic. So my question is, well, what goes on, when you go? He says, on this table, and it's this whiz-bang table, and I'm on this table, and Doc starts working on my back, and there's a foot pedal under the table, and at a certain point, when I least expect it, he hits the foot pedal, and he just about jumps on my back, and the table falls out from under me, and it cracks me into position, and you can hear it snap, crackle, and pop out in the waiting room. I said, what else? He says, well, then he comes around and he stands in front of me where my neck is, and he fiddles around with my neck, and he talks to me about the baseball game or something, so I'm distracted, and as soon as I'm distracted, he twists my head like this, all right? And I mean, he really gets into it with his hips, and I mean, I could just hear it and feel it just crack as if it cracked in half. And then he does it in the other direction, and I feel great. I said, I'll run right down there. I mean, you know, driving past the chiropractor's office, I crashed the lights because you don't want this guy running out there and getting you and dragging you out of the car. Now, this person, understand, is perfectly well-intentioned, and he is telling this story to everybody he knows. In a small town, this one guy could wipe out half of the marketplace for your practice in a matter of days, right? And more people will bungle it than they won't. Some people can't refer because they have very little stature and influence. There's not much you can do about that. They forget. Understandable, they forget. It's not their job. So you get up every morning worrying about new customers, new patients, new clients. They don't get up worrying about your new customers, new patients, new clients. They got a top 10 list for the day, and it's easy to forget you. Maybe they think of you every once in a while on their own. They don't think it's important, right? They think you're buried. If you don't tell them, they think you're maxed out already, especially if you structure your business in such a way that they only see you when you are maxed out. So if you come for a consulting day to me in my place, I have, it's kind of a side topic, but it's worth mentioning. I have a list of knowns. I have a list of things I want you to know. You should have a list of things you want people to know about you. So one of the things I want people to know is I'm busy. Okay? I don't need you, and I don't need your money. So if you annoy me, or if you appear too stupid, I'm just going to move your butt out of here. I want you to know I'm really, really busy. How can I make you know in my environment I'm really, really busy? Well, it can't be phones ringing and stuff because I don't allow that. Okay? And I don't have any people underfoot, so you can't see people running around with file folders like they're doing something because I don't have any of those either. Okay? I mean, the dog comes down and watches us, but this is not enough to make this point, you know. So what you see is a lot of work. I mean, there's a space cleared for us, and then there's project piles all over the place, all right? And what most people do when I go to the bathroom is they roam around and look at all the project piles, all right? Just like when you visit somebody's house, you look in a medicine cabinet and you look in the drawers, right? Come on, you all do, right? You all do it. I mean, every single one of you all do it, right? And so they roam around and they look at the project files, and some of them sneak and they take pictures of shit and they think they're getting away with something. So, however, the adverse effect of this is, I've just shown them I'm up to my earlobes in business. I'm barely squeezing them in. Got my schedule. We had to figure out when I'm going to work on your project. And now it'd be nice if that's a really nice client if they referred me another one. But what have I just set up? A thought that, A, he doesn't need any clients, so why would I refer anybody? And B, he's so busy, if I refer somebody, I may get less attention, and so I'm getting in my own way. So I'll keep my mouth shut about this, right? So they don't think it's important. They fear negative consequences. That patient who comes into your chiropractic practice only on Friday afternoons, there's usually in chiropractic on Friday, there's patients hanging from hooks. I mean, they're everywhere, right? And that patient and the doc's running from room to room, and the little red lights are going off outside the rooms to tell him which room to run to. And he's clutching his heart and gasping for breath when he comes in to adjust you. Well, that patient says, my God, if I refer one more patient in here, he's going to spend 5 minutes less with me, and he might keel over and drop dead altogether. So you don't see Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, when there's nobody in there. Half the staff didn't even show up. They don't see that. So they fear negative consequences, and they referred and they weren't rewarded. The quickest way not to get a second referral is to do a really bad job of rewarding the first. Right? People take it personally that they are not thanked and that they are not rewarded for good behavior. Right? Some people are more annoyed by it than others, but it is annoying. So odds are, by the way, we'll do this whole meeting in this hotel with all of you here spending money and all these rooms and all this stuff, and GKIC will not, if they get anything, they'll get a little thank you note. They won't get any kind of a gift, they won't get anything. Go do a meeting at Disney, like Winter's Weekend, that only has 19 people in it. They thank you like you had brought the world there. Nice little gift bag, little pins, thank you letter personally when I get home, right? Because they want you back and they want you to tell somebody, right? So these are all the reasons people don't refer, but when you combine a number of them, the biggest one is they really aren't trained, they aren't capable, they don't know how to do it, they don't have any good way to do it. We're asking them to do more than they are capable of doing, and really then it's reasonable to ask them to do. So the best internal marketing systems take the task away from the patient or the customer or the client. So in some cases it's kind of easy to do it, in other cases it's not. But here's what we want to accomplish. We want to ask them to do something they can do. We want to ask them to do something they can do comfortably. We want to ask them to do something they'll get positive response for doing from those they do it to. Now this is important, don't miss this one. We want to ask them to do something that when they do it to their sister-in-law, their neighbor, their business peer, in my case, that they get positive response for doing it. So in my world, in my professional practice, 8 out of 10 referrals, here's how they start. My client gives them, my good clients give them a couple of my books. So however that conversation has occurred, Joe has said to Charlie, you know, you really should, this Kennedy guy is really the guy you should be talking to about this. Here, let me go over here. I got a couple of his books on my shelf. Here's a couple books. And so what the referred person says when they reach us is, so-and-so gave me your books and I read your books. The cheapskate clients send them to Amazon to buy the books, all right? Either way, the person has said to you, he's done something to you that you give him positive feedback for. Oh, thank you very much for the books. Oh, thank you for telling me about the books. All right? So that's important. They get brownie points for doing it, and it's interesting to talk about. That's a very different approach, because most strategy is go ye forth and tell somebody. Right? So if we stop asking them to refer, now the question is, what shall we ask them to do? If we're going to stop asking them to refer, what shall we ask them to do? We have what we call special report of the month. So I'll take you through it, but here's how it's used. We're now asking the patient, the customer, the client, okay, to tell appropriate people in their world about the existence of the new available special report about X. So chiropractors, for example, are taught to use the Christmas card list, the prompt method, the same thing we teach in multi-level. So if any of you have had a decent sponsor in a multi-level company, one of the first things everybody does, right, is the prompt list, right? Jay, who do you know who's always talking about needing extra money? Jay, who do you know who has a good attitude about selling? Jay, who do you know? So the chiropractic version of that is, Mary, who do you know who does a lot of heavy lifting all the time on their job? Mary, who do you know who's always complaining about having headaches, okay? And Mary has those people, but then again, here's where that ends. Well, Mary, go tell them about us. And Mary, capable of doing that. But if we say to Mary, and everybody says it to her every time they see her this month, or by a different version, we do it at a distance with email and mail and whatever. Mary, is there anybody in your life who's constantly complaining about headaches? And the doc asks the question, the staff person asks the question, there's a big sign in the lobby this month that asks that question, everybody's wearing buttons this month that ask that question, it's on the website, it's okay. Mary says, yeah, great, Mary, here's what we want you to do. And now we help Mary tell that person about the special report, how never to have a headache again. They urge somebody to go somewhere now to get that report. So what they're usually urging them to do is what? If they refer, what are they telling them to do? What instruction do they give to the referee? Look them up, Google them, I think the website is this, or more commonly, call the office. For what? Schedule an appointment. Big leap. Call him up, he can help you with your headache. Schedule an appointment, go in there, get an exam. Oh, well, what's an exam like? Well, he puts you on a table, he hangs you upside down, right? Uh-oh, right? This is not good. This is much less threatening, and it's specific. Mary, you need to get this special report about never having headaches again from my doc. Here's how to get the report. Oh, okay, I'll go get the report. Okay? So that's how we use this system. So the special report of the month system is about facilitating referrals. It can also be used to do direct lead generation in your own media. Okay? So my biggest gripe with customer newsletters, patient newsletters, is there's no lead generation offer in every issue. Well, why would we do lead generation? It's only going to people we already have as patients. Yeah, but they have family members, they have friends and neighbors and relatives, and we want them to tear this out like they would tear it out of the Reader's Digest or the newspaper and take it to somebody and say, you got headaches, you should get this free report. So the lead generation can be in your own media, and again, drive referrals. So in health, for example, this is staying alive and well longer, how to reduce the risks of or avoid heart attack, stroke, dementia, and Alzheimer's. Dentures versus implants, not just in others' families, what secrets teens won't tell parents about, self-esteem, schools, eat and lose weight. So these have great specificity, okay? And they cause people to tell people about these things. So when you promote information instead of your products and services or practice, you immediately change the dynamic. Right? First of all, everybody else is pitching products, services, and the practice. That's what everybody else is pitching. You now are pitching something else, so you show up like no one else. Information is inherently more interesting than an advertising pitch. Right? So in health, for example, the alternative health book and newsletter industry is $1 billion a year business, as best anybody knows, because they're mostly privately held companies and there's a lot of small entrepreneurs like us, so it may be bigger, but it's at least $1 billion a year industry. It sells predominantly by direct mail, but also by the web, direct to consumers, information about health. How not to have heart attacks, how not to have strokes, how not to have backache, how to get a decent night's sleep, how not to have headaches, how to lose weight, keep it off, how to be more fit, how to get an erection, right? That's what it sells. If all you got to do is copy it, if you're in the health environment, and the only thing you're changing is you're putting in your free information instead of the paid information. Brian Kurtz, who's going to speak at the Info Summit this year, who I work with a lot, at Boardroom, Bottom Line Personal, Bottom Line Health, et cetera. They had this huge hit over the last 3 years selling the 30-Day Cure for Diabetes book at 3 payments of $39.95 by direct mail, front-end profitable, and I forget the exact number now, but it's in the hundreds of thousands of copies of books sold. Now, if I'm running a practice that can treat diabetic patients and help diabetic patients, my reasoning is if they can be in Connecticut and they can do direct mail to sell a $99 book with no back end. They don't sell pills. They don't refer anybody to a doctor and get a commission. They don't have any clinics. There's no back end to this except buy another book and sign up for the newsletter. If they can do this, surely I can do this for my practice if I can figure out how to mail to the same people they mail to in my area. If I'm Cleveland Clinic, I'm all over this. They're not, because they don't get it. You get it. Same thing now in finance. So if you take the other big category of professional practices, they have something to do with money. Well, the alternative investment newsletter industry is also a $1 billion a year industry. And they get people to buy books and newsletters about stocks, bonds, options, emu ranches, every known way that you can invest your money, okay? Conservative, exotic, it's all out there. And if they can afford to do it just to be in the newsletter business, and you have an average client value of $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 as a financial advisor, a broker, an insurer, surely you can afford. So information is inherently more interesting. Proof is they pay for this. They're willing to pay for information. They're not willing to pay for brochures and marketing pitches and so forth. So providing information creates trust. You automatically, again, elevate your status in the eyes of the person if you're the person who's providing information. From the Consumer's Guide to X to the newsletter about, you automatically bring yourself up. Now, if you add all the pizzazz to it, that Nick presented to you last night, you even go up a few more notches. You can position yourself sort of as a consumer advocate when you present information. You can certainly be the most interesting person in the room, because when you provide stuff that people are eager to repeat, right, even if it's not directly relevant to what you sell, but it's in the subject matter of what it is that you sell, you're interesting and you enable other people to be interesting. So most of the people that subscribe to financial newsletters, what do? They glean fascinating facts that they then go and tell their buddies. Hey, Harry Dent said X. So-and-so said Y. Stansberry's predicting Z. Okay? Same thing with health. Hey, did you know there's a new study out that if you drink 3 cups of coffee a day, it cures diabetes. If you drink 4, you'll be dead by Tuesday. All right? Really? Where did you read that? Oh, I read that in so-and-so's. Okay, so this is what goes on. So why wouldn't you want to be in that game? You also get to use one of the most powerful persuasion methods there is, which is demonstration, because you are demonstrating how smart you are about what it is that you do by the way you dispense the information. I'll skip a couple things. So, specificity makes it easier for patients to refer. So we move, when we use this strategy, from if you know anybody who, and that's usually said vague, right? If you know anybody who's a nice person just like you, who you think we could help, please tell them about our practice. So the who is vague and the what to do is vague. This brings specificity to the process. Headaches. Next month, it's chronic back pain. Next month, it's feet that hurt. Next month, so if you know specific for them, and here's how to tell them to get it. So the more specificity you put into the process, the better the results. So here's what a monthly promotion checklist actually looks like. Right? We need a free report. that is specific. So in finance, this month it might be the 401k tax bomb for anybody who has more than $200,000 tied up in a 401k or a pension plan. Next month, the financial advisor's report is more elegantly titled than this, but it is for grandparents who are concerned about protecting assets for grandchildren without the children in between who are getting divorced and are fighting with each other and are completely unreliable and take drugs, being able to get at the money. All right, how do I do that? Okay, so there's a free report every month. Now, depending upon the size of you may be able to reuse some, but there's lead generation ad copy for the free report. The lead generation ads in your own media. There's a get this thing for a friend form stuck in your own media. So they can give the form to somebody or they can fill it out for them and have it sent to them. There's free report ad, the lead generation ad turned into a good sized card, but one that'll fit in a pocket or a purse. So every patient gets 3 or 4 of those so they can hand out the cards and it drives people to the website or the phone in order to get the report. There's a lead generation postcard to the house list, lead generation email to the house list, in-office signage, weekly email with an amazing fax that also ties to the free report, a landing page and a capture site tied to the free report, and then optional, there's some additional stuff. And obviously you can mix up the media. They don't have to all be reports. It could be a report this month, an audio CD next month, a DVD the month after that, an online video the month after that. You can mix the media, okay? That's what this system looks like when it is implemented. So I'll quickly show you. Here's a lead generation ad, okay? Finally sleep well every night and feel 10 years younger every day. New free special report for you if you don't sleep well, your partner sleeps poorly, or you have a family member or friend who complains of troubled sleep, daytime tiredness, or a partner who snores, tosses and turns to keep them awake. The new report, How to Get a Good Night's Sleep Every Night, is now available. This report reveals the causes of interrupted and unrestful sleep, causes and health risks, including heart attack, stroke, and dementia of snoring, and proven ways to improve sleep with diet, exercise, probably. This copy is written as if we were selling this information, but we are going to give it away. Ultimately, get this report for yourself, your spouse, or a friend at www.what'stthis, or by calling What's This, or email your name to Cindy at whdentalcenter.com, and we need a name and the street address of the person to send the reports to. That's the lead generation ad for the report. Okay? That's on the back of a card, so everybody can have cards in their pockets. That's used in the email, that's used in the newsletter, that's used everywhere. And next month, we put all that away, and we trot out the next one. And a month after that, we put all that away, and we trot out the next one. By the way, it automatically also makes you more interesting to a regular clientele or patient base because you are appearing with new specific information month after month after month. Right? So a comprehensive internal marketing system has that plus a bunch of stuff wrapped around it. Now, this is the antithesis of, hey, would you please tell your friends and neighbors about us? One tool that helps a lot, and I'm going to show you 2 made by Partiv. Did you get a mic? Okay, I may want to ask you a question. So, shock and awe packages. Many of you are now familiar with the shock and awe package. The role they have in referring is the patient who comes in through this kind of device feels better about you, client, and tells other people about you. But these are also at some point, hey, you had a great experience here. At some point, you're going to tell somebody about us. We usually put them in plastic bags. So here's 3 of our, this is a book, oh, there's the thing in here. So here's 3 of our packages, just like the one you got. I put each one in a plastic bag so you can put it in the trunk of your car if you want to, and it won't get grease all over it. And at any opportunity you have when you're having a conversation with somebody about it, just here's my doctor's information kit and his video book in this case, or here's my doctor's information kit and my book. He's a doctor we trust with our health care. I think you'll find this really interesting. That's all you have to say. You just have to say, here's information from my doctor, including his book. I think you'll find it really interesting. He's the guy we trust with our health care. That's all you have to say, Mary. Okay, you do it 3 times, so Mary learns the script. All right, so now that's kind of implanted. We've given her a good tool to give away. If it's got a book or a video book in it, it gives her help. It gives her brownie points for doing it. So this is your shock and awe for Dr. Weish. Do you want to tell me anything about it? You got 30 seconds.
Yes, sir. It follows everything you said. I mind mapped it and implemented it.
And this is the video book that's in it,
Yeah, that
which
goes
when
with
you open it up, it plays, right? Or do you push a button?
Yes, sir. No, it just plays.
It'll automatically come on, okay? And, which it's not automatically come on. It's not, hey, it's not coming on. Give me that. It's the copier salesman's bane of existence, is demonstration. Take my word for it, it's supposed to do this. There we go, video loading at least appears on the screen, and then the little video comes on in the book, right? So this package, when it works, and then this is Dr. Burleson's, who's going to come here in a second. This is Dr. Burleson's. The format is largely the same, okay? It's built on a template literally that I created, okay? Slight variances, obviously. This is, does your child need braces? This is not a braces practice. How to get the radiant smile. So the product is different. It's important that only one piece of this whole thing has to do with the product, by the way. And so you build these for people, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. It has a quiz and everything.
You have ripped off my format.
You call me a parasite. I'm just living up to your
There you go. And you, and he's doing it brilliantly, by the way, for clients in all kinds of fields. So these tools, if you want people to refer, you got to give them good tools. They have to have a bag of tools. You can't give them, I mean, you can. I saw Dave do this, our magnetic marketing thing. I cringed. It's better than nothing. But, you know, giving them 3 business cards has all the problems. See, this relieves these problems. This actually motivates. So when we've done this with financial advisors, here consistently is what has happened, all right? The number of referrals has gone up. The speed of referral from the client has improved, all right? And about 10% are back within 1 to 2 weeks wanting more. I gave those 3 you gave me out. I gave them out. Is it okay? Could I have some more? No. We only let a client have 3 a year, okay? We'll go come back in March. I mean, so good tools, good process, a funnel that captures the referral when it comes to you. That's the correct way to play this game. Now, I have 2 people who are great marketers in practices and great internal marketers in practices. So Dr. Burleson, who I got to know better than I knew him before when he was at Winners Weekend. What were you there for? I mean, the free food and stuff, but I mean, how did you get there? Okay, so runner-up GKIC Marketer of the Year last year, and he has a great orthodontic practice. And Ben Glass, who's in my titanium group, who has a thriving law practice. So they both do a great job. I asked them to show you like one of their best and brightest and smartest things that they do. So Dustin, you want to go first? Are you okay with a handheld? You want my lav or a handheld? Okay, can we share?
Yes, sir.
Thanks. So we're doing a lot of the same things we just talked about. Systematically trying to manage the expectations and take as much of this away from the staff as possible. So this is a nice big box that shows up. We do a new patient shock and awe when the patient schedules their initial consultation, but we also try to make something big that's, I guess, brag worthy, or they'll share with a friend or family member once they actually become a client of ours. So our average sale per customer is between $6,000 and $7,000. So the first question we get from coaching clients of ours is, how can you afford to do this? This box costs about $170. There's an iPod Nano in it, loaded up with content from Burleson Ortho TV that walks people through how to take care of their braces, how to become a better patient. This map really walks people through step by step what we want them to do in our practice. So we really want them to refer. So this is kind of their roadmap. And on the inside of this, there is an electric toothbrush, a t-shirt, it's pink or black depending on male or female, the iPod loaded up with information, and then 2 copies of the book here to hand and to actually encourage them to refer other friends and family. So this is one thing that's really working very nicely. And then as we've automated it, taking most of this away from the staff, although they still do a lot inside of our practices. These have worked very well. They're actual, look like credit cards, like a little business card, but they're plastic. It's an additional savings for their next kid in treatment or for a friend or family member they refer to us. So this is our new Start Shock and All. We've been testing this now roughly for about a year. And our patient-to-patient referrals have gone from about 15% currently to about 60%. So most of our patients come from existing clients, which is good. So yeah, that's one.
So
idea.
the principle behind this, by the way, we have one stool. Will you stay up here,
Yeah.
Will Ben, and then we're all going to do Q&A. So there,
Cool.
you can grab your own stool over there and kind of come in this direction. The principle behind this is when you welcome them to the family, it ought to be a big deal, right? And so the way most people welcome you to the family is somebody says, thanks for coming in. So the first-time customer in any business, they ought to get welcomed to the family in a big way, so it's meaningful. Again, Disney does a fabulous job. So if you're not a member of, geez, now I'm blanking.
D23.
Thank you, D23. Is it D23.com?
Yes.
Go to D23.com and join. It's cheap. 50.
It's a couple $100, but we stole this idea from them.
A couple $100 a year. And watch how they welcome you to the family and re-welcome you every year when they renew you. Ben, you want to come join us? Hey, Darce, could you see if they have a second working, thank you very much?
My name is Ben Glass. I'm a personal injury attorney. And
We aren't hearing you.
Yep.
There we are.
My name is Ben. I'm a personal injury attorney in
Wayne Newton.
Virginia.
You gotta have it close, like Wayne Newton.
Gotcha. And have a info marketing program for lawyers. You've all seen personal injury lawyer ads. What do most of them say, right? If you've been hurt, call us fast. We've been in business for 400 years. We're aggressive. We really, really do care for you. And if we get some money, we'll share it with you. Our entire message is, at our law firm, is if you've been hurt, you may not need an attorney, so it's a different message. But before you talk to the adjuster, hire an attorney or sign any forms, come get our free information. The current,
Actually, I'm
if
gonna
you go to
let them
the
share.
Ben Glass
I'm
Law
gonna need somebody
website,
to run.
you'll see that the very first thing you see really is an opt-in for a report, how to find the right lawyer for your case every time, for which we just ask for your email address. Once you go there, there's then a very sophisticated and complex tree, all run by Infusionsoft, that gets the client to then sort of self-identify. I'm here because I think I have a malpractice case. Thank you for going to my website. Bunch of cool stuff, which I will get to. By the way, Dan, when you speak at my events, I have a real Elmo with the 2-light system there. So getting back to what
just work here, buddy.
Dan said and what Nick said last night, one of the core ways that we market the practice is by marketing really my story, and the story has almost nothing to do with me being a lawyer. So what people know about me, which is easy for them to tell their friends if they have a friend who is injured, is that Ben Glass, dad to 9, 4 kids from China, they all do speak English despite what you said yesterday, runs 2 businesses.
Well, see, that's the problem with turning me loose to tell the story.
I know, that's exactly right. Runs 2 businesses, friend to the small biz owner, and his whole thing is he's published all of these books. He has information for you. So this, How to Find the Right Lawyer, is actually an updated version of something that we made, The Truth About Lawyer Advertising. I think you had something, The Truth About Braces or the Cost of Braces. Dan actually ran, so my graphic design artist and I, we sit down, we riff on this stuff. We actually make up all of these ads that are on the front, right? Including the one Dan ran in the newsletter of of the hearse that says "We do wills." Dan said in the newsletter, "This isn't really good stuff." I'm like, does he know that we just made this up? But again, we're taking a position also against all of the other lawyer marketing. So we say to consumers, by the way, you really can't find anything useful in a lawyer ad when all they do is they tell you that we really care for you. We've been in business for 45 years and we are aggressive. Hell, everybody says that. So we tell them what websites to go to, what badges of certifications to actually look for, all of which happen to fit what Ben Glass has. Then if you've been in a car accident, this is now like about the 5th generation of 5 deadly sins that can wreck your injury case. By the way, almost all of my stuff now markets or includes reference to a charitable organization that provides healing care and nutrition and money for orphans in China. So people know that part about my story as well. Everything also drives people back to special reports. We've got, if you come through our website, we also tell people things that other lawyers never tell them, which is one of the things we tell them is, you can settle your own case without a lawyer. And no other advertising says that. Of course, if they get this book, which is, all of this stuff, by the way, is free PDF download, and then if they give us the secondary information as they go to a landing page, they get the real stuff in a shock and awe package. I'll show you the envelope there. Of course, if they go through all of the steps of learning how to settle the case on their own, either their case is too small for us, in which we sort of repel people with small cases, or they realize that it's rather complicated and they need us.
By the way, there's always a tremendous fear of revealing how to do whatever it is we do for people, okay? Or to give them do-it-yourself alternatives. It is always an erroneous fear. Right? We have all kind of copywriting courses, ultimate sales letter book, magnetic marketing, all that. None of it has impoverished me in any way, shape, or form by depriving me of a copywriting client. Quite the contrary. The exact same thing happens that he just described. The clients that actually are too small for me, at least at that moment, have now good, legitimate, reliable information that they can use to do it for themselves, or to go hire a lesser person and at least supervise them well. The ones who are a fit for me simply convince themselves through the content that A, this is more complicated than anything I want to do for myself, and he's the guy I want to go get to do it. So the fear is always erroneous.
The other thing it does, it positions us as the big case lawyers. And so if there is a case that actually does need a lawyer, but it's below our threshold, we'll refer it out. We'll make sure you know that this other lawyer is great at the little cases. Through our monthly newsletter and through everything else we do, we stay in touch, because that's the other fear, is that if I refer someone to you, you'll get the next big case. But we very clearly tell them that the guy we're sending the case to is really great at little cases, but when you have a big case, come back to us. We've got books for every practice niche that we do. So we do a form of disability and a book, Robbery Without a Gun there. If you get hit as a pedestrian, we've got that. I've got books if you get hit and you're on a motorcycle, if you got hit and you're on a bicycle, and we have a book for medical malpractice cases. So no matter where they are on their interest level, that is, I'm thinking about maybe settling my case, or I'm trying to decide what lawyer to hire, or I get hit and I was on a motorcycle, we want to have that tool that tells the story for me. Or if Dan has been in my tribe and he knows my story, he knows that Ben is a lawyer, he's a cool guy, and he probably has a book right on your case. So we make it easy referral tool. We've also got one here all the way at the other end. So if you read our stuff and you already have a lawyer, we have a guide to firing your lawyer in Virginia, which is a step-by-step guide for doing that for folks. We publish our own magazine. Talking about referrals now, one of the things I think we've done a pretty cool job with is making friends with a small biz owner in our community. These people have waiting rooms, they have their own herds, They have lobbies and things like that. So we have our own video studio. If you're a small biz owner in Northern Virginia, you're getting on my show, I'm interviewing you. You don't know anything about video. If you've looked, it's way too expensive. We'll do it for you for free. For free, only thing I ask is, if I do that for you, doctor or chiropractor or therapist, I want you to have my magazine in your lobby. And it's a low threshold thing. It's not dangerous for them to do it. If the magazine looks cool, and inside the magazine, it has lead generation for all of our books, for other cool stuff I've done, like a Success in America CD, where my son invited me to speak to the frat boys at his college many years ago, which then became, I was invited by the University of whatever to speak to the kids about success. And so no matter who I'm talking to, I've always got something I can hand them to make a connection other than the connection, Ben is a lawyer. We then go to our small biz friends and we run ads for them for free inside our magazine. Sort of legitimizes the magazine. We tell neat stories. The last thing, here's the envelope. If you ever do request information from us, our sort of shotgun envelope. By the way, everything is repurposed into audio CDs and into a DVD. So we have a DVD at Dan's suggestion in a coaching meeting I had with him that really, the fear of most professional practice owners is they all want me, so I have to do all the work. Our DVD introduces the system by which you will work with us if you are fortunate enough for us to take your case. And that means this is Ben's role, but here's all of my staff, my super team of heroes roles. Here's what they will do for you. Don't bug me. Because the other thing that our clients know and our friends know, I'm a very busy guy. I don't work weekends. I'm at home in time for dinner every single night. I'm on soccer fields, all that stuff. So it becomes now a client management tool. The last thing I'll show you, I think, is, again, being friends to the business community. If you know anything about the trial lawyer world, you know that, and if there are any of you in there, you can repeat this or not, but most of them are to the left, most of these associations are to the left of Obama. They really are. Most individual people that I represent are right-wing. They're conservative, family-value people. So we reach out to the small biz community and teach them things like marketing and success. And I run a local mastermind group with that. Again, I told you about the videos, and we've licensed through Dan a couple of books, his Ultimate Success Secret book. You probably have seen some versions of this. Other folks have done it. It's a really easy deal to do. The thing looks good. But if I'm talking to you about your case and I find out you run a small business or your cousin does or whatever, I can do that demonstration thing that Dan talks about and go, run down the hall into a closet, come out with one of my business or success books, Don't Bet Your Barbie Money, another one with Dan, and give it to him. Again, I'm making a connection that has nothing to do with me being an attorney. This is our latest book, Playing to Win. Dan's advice, always label your first book Volume 1. There'll be more. After that, every business should have a coloring book. So because Ben has 9 kids, you gotta have coloring books. So we combine with a local group that does, they go to schools and they teach them about pedestrian safety. So we did all of this for them. We designed it, give them 1 million copies and let them do it. Another book on child safety. Is that helpful? You can go to benglasslaw.com. You can sort of see the sequence. So we do.
By the way, where can they see stuff, Dustin?
You can find us at
There's a stool. You wanna grab yourself a
burlesonortho.com
stool?
or stophidingyoursmile.com. burlesonortho.com, BURLESON, ortho.com, or stophidingyoursmile.com, or theplaintruthAboutbraces.com.
Okay, we're gonna do a little Q&A. Do I have somebody to help me? Okay, we're gonna favor the middle, so you can come over here, okay? I gently asked people to move toward the middle and they didn't, so I'm not gonna try and put you on a weight loss program, okay? So we're gonna work like right here. He's in the center aisle. He can come to you or you can come to him. Can be Ben, Dustin, me, but you ought to take advantage of them, or all of us, okay?
Good afternoon. I'm David Sims from Springfield, Missouri, and I wanted to ask either of you, do you either send out a newsletter to either clients, potential clients, prospects, or anyone?
We do 4 newsletters a month, 2 internal to patients and 2 external to businesses and referring dentists. So I'm an orthodontist, and really my newsletter, to answer your question, yes, is really a wrapper and a reason to give them an insert to push them to a report and do lead generation. I like the newsletter, but it's really a reason for me to generate new patients and new clients. So.
Let me just make this point. So you're seeing 2 guys who are doing complicated things. That's one of the reasons they do so well. So he just said 4 different newsletters for 4 different constituencies for 4 different purposes. Oh, I only want to do 1, and can't I send it every other month instead of every month because it's hard to get it done, and couldn't we put it in 2-point invisible and print it on a postcard because that's cheaper? And the answer to all that is no, right? Not if you want great results.
We also do a 4-page colored newsletter to everyone who comes through our marketing funnel who is in our market area. So I got lots of, like, we'll have people from this room that go fill it. You probably won't get a newsletter. It's mainly not about the law. It is celebritizing someone in my family or some small biz owner. I write a lot of success stories, which then, you know, in 12 or 14 months become parts of a book. It's critical. And we don't do any email newsletter. I don't do email blasts to that group. Everything is by mail. Last month we gave away a book called The Slight Edge for Kids, I think. You can get it from the Success Foundation. It's $1 a copy when you buy like a case of them. It's one of the coolest things you can do because my positioning is an icon in the community and a hero to your family. And so a lot of my stuff is about that and not so much about being a lawyer.
Cool.
The videos you make for these small business owners in your area, how are they utilizing those?
Well, I don't really care how they utilize them as much. I mean, we teach them, hey, go put them on your website because now you just got interviewed on the Live Life Big local show. We use them, of course, on our website. We've got literally hundreds of informational videos at our YouTube channel. LegalAcademyVideos.com would take you to that channel. So we want to be the Abe Lincoln, the guy through whom all requests for legal services in the community go. I'm only handling a limited number of cases, but if Dan calls me because he wants to start a new business and I make a big deal out of that and make a great referral, and now I've got 2 great friends, that's good for all 3 of us. So so if you are next week I'm interviewing a woman who's got she's a education specialist. So she helps families with kids who have some special needs, and I got some kids with special educational needs. And so we're gonna interview her, and we'll make a show, and we'll chop it up. It's just more ways for people to come find me, because there's a Ben Glass Law banner behind the interview. It's really easy to do once you get a system, and I hire young people who are interested in learning that technology.
Hi, I'm Kelly Brown, and your Ben and Dr. Burleson, your welcome boxes are awesome. I was trying to, and you probably have it in there, but I just didn't catch it. I guess the tool that Dan was talking about, the tool to be able to take it out so they don't screw up the referral. Is that in there, or did I miss a piece of that, or what part of it did you use to do that?
There is. So the map kind of walks a patient through systematically managing what I want them to do for the next 2 years while we treat their patient, their kid or themselves. So inside of that, it talks about that we're a referral-based business, and we have this systematically kind of ingrained into our employees' minds. So in our business, we have operatories where the patients sit. Each one of those operatories has a clear plexiglass sign that talks about the issue or the report or whatever we're pushing that month to give them a reason to refer back. These things are a different level of that, and so we're trying to make a big kind of shocking introduction to their household.
Well, and the handout tool in here is the 2 books,
yeah, so
right?
yeah.
So there's 2 copies of his book, which suggests
Give one.
you don't need 2, right? So, you know, why would he give me 2? So it's suggestive, and the gift cards, the plastic gift cards,
Yes,
right,
I
are
got that.
for me or for somebody else. So
Okay.
those are the tools.
And
But he is very much using the report methodology that I talked about, and he's using it very, very well. And he also has a shock and awe package like that one, which like the Partiva examples I showed you, that one they're getting pre-appointment.
Exactly.
Right?
So new patients get theirs as well. Dan asked me to bring something new and exciting. This is the newest and exciting
Okay.
thing. But does that help?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Right on.
So let me add 2 quick things to that, because the books do tell the story, but I'll tell you 2 different ideas. Is that we've got books. So my disability book, I give it to the local disability insurance sales guys, because the book talks about how most of these policies suck. It actually helps them sell a more expensive policy. We've got a book on how to buy car insurance in Virginia. I give that to the automobile insurance agents, because it helps them sell a more expensive policy.
My name is Dr. George Moritz, a concierge anti-aging physician. This question is directed toward Dr. Burleson. In your shock and awe package, looking at, and I don't know your package, but the DVD with the dramatic demonstration, looking back retrospectively, what was the factor that got them to actually watch the DVD? Because I find that's the biggest factor that they either buy into coming in to see me or they just put it away.
So looking back at our data and asking people, have they actually gone through most of it? I'll tell you, the ones who have sell themselves. The close rate is near 100%. Encouraging them to do that. We're following this up with a tight back end of automated emails with Infusionsoft. So if you don't read a report, we'll send you the video. If you don't watch the video, we'll send you an audio CD. If you don't listen to any of that, so we're trying to get them on their level. So to answer your question, how do we know or what prompts them to watch it? I don't care as long as they get it in some method. So you'll see it repurposed. The report is very similar to the DVD.
I'm missing, so we get the call
Yep.
of the prospect. They set up the appointment. We send out a physical shock and awe package, DVD, the whole 9 yards, very expensive package. Before they come in to sit with the salesperson, they're supposed to read it. You're saying you have a way of knowing whether they actually read it?
Inside of Infusionsoft. So the minute you schedule an appointment in our office, you'll get an email that talks about this package that'll show up tomorrow via FedEx. And it then systematically keeps in touch with them until they come visit to make sure they're getting.
So they're watching it online. They're not watching it physically.
We also give a physical as well. We're just trying to bombard them.
I'll ask you later. I'm missing the part about how you actually know if they're not using email.
If they're not using the email,
Yeah, in other
Infusionsoft can
words-
track it.
Okay.
Infusionsoft can track. There's software talk to part of. You actually see where they stopped watching the video in which part. So we can track who
Even if
watched
it's
it
a
and who
physical DVD that they plug into their DVD?
of the online version. So
Oh, you're talking about the online. See,
yeah.
my clients are a little older, and so they're not watching.
Don't
it.
matter. You should still be giving them every option.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this is so you're fixated on them watching a DVD.
Yes.
Let's get unfixated.
Okay.
Which is part of his point. Okay? Let's deliver the same message
Digitally.
every which way.
Okay.
So we expand the likelihood. Okay? So like these things are structured. First of all, I don't care which one they read first. Don't matter. Okay? They can start anywhere they want to start. And we have a hope that it interests them enough that they'll go to the next one, that they'll go to the next one, that they'll go to the next one, right? If they won't read anything, I always build an audio CD in that is an interview with the star that really is this same stuff, now actually in the order I'd like it to be, delivered via that interview. Ideally, there's a DVD. There's the online options, right? So if you will go online, go online. If you won't, here it is, right? And if you want to up the compliance, how you package that DVD, and so it's got to be like I bought a movie.
Well, you know what I did, Dan, is I bought your volumes 1, and this is not just plugging that, but you had one where it says this is the hot video that everyone's whispering about. So
Yep.
I repackaged that one. So if people don't buy your volume 1, they're missing out. And we just repackaged that as kind of a hot, seductive, sexy
Thanks.
DVD.
And ultimately, if you want to run a hardcore experiment, the hardcore experiment is they call the day of the appointment. If you watch the DVD, you can't come in. We got to reschedule the appointment until you've gone through the information.
And we've actually made them watch it in the office before they actually come back. But
Yeah, but that's not the same as
it's not the same
kitchen
thing.
table, stuff spread out on a table,
Yeah.
cup of cocoa. That's the magic.
Yeah, you could test a direct response element in the video and then use a phone script to prompt them to go to it. But it's better to make, Dan said it better than I did, everything in those printouts, everything in the emails, everything, it's all the same stuff, which is if you're lucky enough to be a patient of ours, you better be prepared to spend more than you're going to spend at other doctors in our town. That's the entire message. For people that are looking for a discount, we're just trying to make them go away, just like Ben's doing.
And I agree, if they watch the live event, the whole thing, the testimonials, they
Yep.
usually do become clients. So.
No point in anybody else getting in line. We're probably not going to make it through the line. Ben, did you want in?
The only thing I would say is when you do everything that Dr. Burleson said, and your competition sees it, if they even get a wind of what it is we do here in this room, they don't even start down the path because it is so complex and looks like so much time, energy, and effort, which it is. I mean, you didn't build it like in 30 days, I don't think. I didn't. But do this. Do one thing at a time and build this fortress of information. It all says the same thing. It's just some of them are going to listen to it in the car, some of them are going to watch it on TV.
I have yet to have one insurance-based doctor try to learn what I'm doing in cash anywhere near me. No, they're not interested because they don't understand it.
Okay. You, sir.
Yes, thanks for your time. 2 quick questions. One has to do with concerns regarding malpractice. I practice in family law, bankruptcy, kind of 2 different divergent practices. But regarding that, my question is, my concern is saying too much. I know that you told us not to worry about that.
Let's have your second question.
Yeah,
We're not going to practice law here.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Shock and awe package. I'm just curious, does that, do you have any data on boosting like show rates for appointments or any indication? We have a shock and awe package, which basically just is our book, but it doesn't seem to really have our show rate for it. Just doesn't seem to be that great. So I wanted to include that little video thing right there with testimonials on it and send it to them when they got our book. And I was wondering, have you guys done that? And what's the impact on show rate?
In the bankruptcy world, show rate is something it's not just a shock and awe package. I'll tell you what our bankruptcy coach teaches is I have no appointment beyond tomorrow. So you call, your appointment is tomorrow. If you can't come, sorry. And once they went to that system, their show rate improved dramatically. So they don't give them a long time to think about us. Go to the Yellow Pages, find other bankruptcy lawyers. And everyone who is in the bankruptcy world, they have a system for communicating back, confirming the appointment, all of that stuff. It's complex. I mean, it's a lot of moving parts.
Dustin?
I would echo that. I think your question is, can you point to one thing that affects your no-show rate? And I think it's the wrong question to ask. I think you need to look at a million things Ben does and I do to systematically put people in the position where they would swim through a lake of hungry alligators just to get to Ben's door to please take my case. That's what all this does. So have we gone back and measured our close rate on people who have gone through the package? Yes or no? Yes, we closed 90% of our cases. If they haven't read it, systematically we kind of push them out.
See, if you have a significant no-show rate in any business, all right, you really don't have a no-show problem. All right? You have a source problem, all right? So you are feeding bad customers into your system, all right? Or you have a motivational problem in that, A, they feel they cannot show and reschedule and it's no big deal. They feel you're an interchangeable commodity and they just discovered somebody 6 miles closer and what the hell, I'll go over there, right? Those are really your 2 problems. You fix those 2 things, the no-show rate goes away in just about every business. And by the way, all sorts of businesses have it. People that run preview seminars have a no-show rate of people not showing up at the preview seminars. Doctors have it, lawyers have it, CPAs have it, gyms that sell by appointment have it. And so it really is actually, the problem is even erroneously defined, right? The problem is due its source and the mindset you've created about that, you know? I mean, so like people in my world who are actually actively seeking new clients will complain about people scheduling phone appointments with them, you know, and not showing up. I can't recall the last time that's happened to me. Okay? Because the positioning's right, the terror factor of they'll never speak to me again, which if that did happen, it's actually what would happen. I mean, it just doesn't happen. So it's really, you really have to define the problem right before you try and solve it. Yes, sir.
Dr. Burleson, you mentioned a website that you emulated or kind of copied for your shock and awe. What was?
The plain truth about braces.com.
So that's what you
the
used.
Disney one that you
Oh, the Disney
emulated.
D23.
D23.
Yes.
Okay, and then Ben, just a real quick question. What percentage of your information package is emotion-based about you and your family or about you?
That's a good question. Well, I don't know, 50-50. Who really knows? Dan showed a piece a few months ago that goes in there. It's the things I do when I'm not being a lawyer. So that's in there. The biggest selling tool I have is a big picture in my conference room of my whole big family. And if I'm having a discussion with you, I can almost always find something you say that relates to something that one of them has done. So it's a mix. I've
Thank
never
you.
measured.
Hi, Dr. Philip Yu, a super laser chiropractor. I already picked Ben's brain in the lobby, but for Dustin, how much are you involved in the actual patient interaction? Do you do the initial consultation or financial close? Or do you have associate doctors? If you do, how do you hire the right one that won't copy your systems and become your competitor?
Well, you can answer the first one. Yeah. You don't get to answer the second
Long, yeah.
one. Okay?
None. So I fired myself from clinical care. I only do hard cases, cleft lip and palate, and surgical cases when I want. I get to come in kind of as a celebrity. We have 5 doctors in 4 locations that do the rest of that. This guy got me out of the business of being a tooth mover and in the business of owning a business. One is infinitely more productive than the other. You can guess which one. So to answer your question, I'm not doing any of it. We train people to do all of it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
And you are last.
Kosha Grandchild, I'm an immigration lawyer, and this question is to everybody. First of all, I want to thank all of you guys for the awesome information. What percentage do you invest back in your clients in doing a shock and awe package? A lot of my clients, they're on a payment cycle, so they might be paying like $500 a month to start. So is there any rule of thumb that you go by?
What Dan said yesterday, engineer the practice to be willing and able to spend more than anyone else. So since I met Dan, I've never looked at the answer to that question in terms of a percentage of a case or a percentage of net revenue or anything. It's always this piece and the ROI here competing against this piece and the ROI here, and I'll do as many of those pieces as I can. It's not the answer that you wanted. There are no simple answers to complex questions. Having said that, if you look around what all the other lawyers in your community are doing, you only have to be smarter than the next least smart guy and more willing. I mean, that's where I would start if I'm you.
Yeah, my answer has always been as much as you can spend. This would be plated in solid gold if it's what it took to get the result that we get. And so I think last quarter we gave enough iPads away that Apple called us. We were buying more iPads than our local Best Buy, and they blacklisted my office. We had to go buy them in cash. So these types of things literally are all about the result they get. And so design your business so you can spend as much as you can, at least more than your competitor. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Cool.
and look, the last thing I'll say about it is this. One of the things that everybody ought to know, because all kind of budgeting questions come up, all of the stuff that's taught in textbooks and that your CPA is going to give you on spreadsheets and all that stuff, It doesn't apply to us. We're in direct response and we're in direct marketing. We have a separate set of math and statistics that we use to manage money than all other kinds of businesses. So if you don't have a CPA who does direct marketing and direct response companies, that's okay as long as you know what you're doing. But getting advice from him about that is useless because he is always going to, well, your ad budget should be X percentage of your growth. It doesn't apply. If you want kind of a textbook on this, Bob Stone's book, Direct Marketing, it has the math in it that the direct marketing industry uses. Gentlemen, thank you. Please thank them.
If
And
I don't want to take those books home, so I'll just meet you on the side if you give them.
Ben is giving away his stuff, his samples. All right, Dustin is not. I am not. Thank you all. I hope you had a good session, and you are on a break.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're taking a 20-minute break. 20 minutes.
Thanks.